Okay, so the third video that I'm filming with Gabby today is all about how to get a bank account in the UK. It's a question we commonly get asked, and it's one of those things I think we all take for granted, having bank accounts in our home countries, but actually when it comes to setting up a new one in a new country, it can be quite a challenge. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to talk through is the documentation that a bank is going to require of you before you can set up an account. Pretty basic stuff, but can be a little bit hard to obtain as soon as you arrive in the country. So first things first, passport, which we'll assume you've got if you've entered the country. Second thing is BRP, and of course there can be a slight delay if there's a delay in that being sent to your local post office, so that can be a little bit tricky sometimes. The third one is sometimes they will request a letter from your employer, so a letter from the HR department in your hospital confirming that you are employed there, and perhaps what your salary is as well. So important to get that. If you can, email ahead to your HR department and maybe get them to send it to you the week before you come. It'll only help once you arrive. And the final part is a proof of address. So most banks will want to know that you've got a static address in the UK. So this is a bit where it can get a little bit tricky. If you're living in a shared address, like hospital accommodation is sometimes like that, can prove a little bit difficult to get a postal address for it. And equally, of course, if you're staying in a hotel or Airbnb for a week whilst you settle in before you go to a more permanent residence, that can be a bit tricky. So consider these things before you arrive and try to plan ahead is the best advice. Okay, so a lot of people ask us, which bank should I bank with? And in the UK, actually, lots of them are much of a muchness. They're not too different when it comes to current accounts. You don't tend to receive high rates of interest on current accounts and things like that. So all of the high street branches that you'll see once you arrive in the UK should have the same requirements when it comes to setting up a bank account. So you shouldn't find that there's too much deviation from the documents that we mentioned in the previous section. One more kind of recent thing that's come around is that more and more international doctors are moving towards online banks. So Monzo is quite a big one in the UK at the moment. And one of the good things about Monzo and others is that the ID checks can be done using a kind of photo ID, so like your passport or driving license, along with a video which verifies that it is you applying for it. So you don't always need the proof of address because it's an online account and things like that. So that might be worth considering as well. In terms of credit cards and things like that, if you wanted to apply for those once you arrive, take a look online. There's a website called comparethemarket.com and various other comparison websites which will tell you what the best rates of interest and things like that are. Okay, so hopefully that's been of some use in giving you some advice on how to set up your bank account once you arrive in the UK. I'm sure you'll have lots of questions about this, and of course if you've got questions about anything else pertaining to the arrival in the UK, then please do get in touch. As always, Gabby's going to put the contact details up at the end of the video.